Plans to rebuild the Calvary Baptist Church are in the works, and an uninvited guest disrupts town workers on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Thursday, August 9th, 2012. I'm Sarah Colvin. A devastating fire ripped through the Calvary Baptist Church in March. This morning, Rick Finuccio of Brown, Lundquist, Finuccio and Raber Architects was at formal site plan review discussing the rebuild. Here he discusses some parking issues.
Fire in March. The fire is why we're here. We'd like to bring into consideration the fact that the Calvary Baptist had an occupancy of 146 occupants prior to the fire, and they had approximately 21 parking spaces on site. It's a rough gravel and part paved parking lot. So I'd like us to at least discuss the non-conforming structure, which Tom, you and I have already discussed in terms of how we arrived at this design, but also the fact that the parking, in theory, was non-conforming as well. So you had about, from our calculations, 21 parking spaces that served a posted occupancy load of 146 people. So I guess my contention is, wouldn't we be allowed to replace the same occupancy, given that the building is not really growing, the sanctuary is actually getting a little bit smaller, the number of occupants and holding on to that number as it relates to the parking on site. And the reason I bring that up is if we can't take any credit for the 9 off-site parking spaces on Lincoln Road that we had shown diagrammatically in the site plan, we are certainly under by a significant amount in order to keep the sanctuary up at that level.
With the 9 spaces, I mean, we recognize them, but they're not really yours.
Correct.
That's really what we're saying. I
Sure.
mean, are there 9 spaces in the street? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there X amount of spaces on the lot? Yes. Do you have an agreement with an off-site lot? Yes, supposedly.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it, but I'm assuming you're going to get that.
Yeah, there's a letter that just came in early this morning. It hasn't made its way
Right.
to us yet.
And are you close with your parking?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
If we felt you weren't close with the parking, you'd be going to the zoning board for relief
Sure.
for parking. We're not sending you there for that.
Okay.
We'll see if the site works. And if need be, what's going to happen, probably if you need it down the road, you're going to have to get another agreement with someone in the area to provide more parking. I mean, technically, we should be sending you to the board to get a relief from parking, but we're not sending you there.
Yeah, no.
There hasn't been a problem down there, to my knowledge,
Right.
in the past. So will this site work?
Right.
Probably. We'll see what happens.
Okay. So how do we approach that, Tom, in terms of posting occupancy as it relates to the current parking? I guess that's what we want to do, is make sure you have enough when we submit for the building permit, and that the certificate of occupancy doesn't conflict with the parking.
Right.
Unless
I'm not going to hold back the C of I
Okay.
and base it on the parking.
Okay.
I'm going to base it on the...
Lighting, sprinklers, and landscaping are also included in the plan, as well as a revamping of the kitchen area.
We understand that the road opening permit will be required for those utilities that Russ just spoke of, and certainly showing you that we've got compliant sidewalk cuts, handicap access cuts on that side will be provided. The proposed lighting plan has not been done yet. We know that that has to be a supplemental submission showing the photometrics on that. So we're just getting an electrical engineer teed up now, so there'll be a plan of partial off the building and maybe a pole or 2. So it'll be pretty small scale for the 23 spaces. We talked about maybe a couple of small bollards for the sidewalk lighting just to get up to the building. The stamp plan, of course, Russ will get that in terms of all final grades. We did just notice in the back of the room, we've top of floor at 104 is not correct. That's going to come down. That's the existing sanctuary. We're going to be bringing that down so it's only about 8 inches above adjacent grade. The whole idea, obviously, is to minimize, reduce steps, and make it a easily accessible building. I probably should have started the whole presentation off by describing that the section in the back is the function that's going on currently in the basement. That food service food pantry program that they run. Our goal is to get that up onto the main level and get it out of the basement, construct essentially a very economical slab-on-grade building, and bring that piece up so that it's easy to get to for folks for the dining program. The central entrance office area, restroom core, that's going to have a full basement under it, but essentially the front section sanctuary and the rear section dining area will all just be a slab building. The full basement will allow us to put sprinkler valve and utilities and other HVAC plant stuff in that area. A landscape plan also we know has to be submitted. Bruce is in the landscape construction business, so he's got some folks who may be able to help out and provide an actual landscape plan and the planting plan.
Site plan did give the nod to that project. An uninvited guest caused some commotion at Town Hall this morning. Just about 10 o'clock this morning, employees noticed a bat flying around the building. Animal Control Officer Charlie Lewis was called in to capture the bat. We caught up with Charlie while he was at Town Hall right after he successfully captured the creature.
We got lucky. First it went behind a wall and we weren't able to get it there, and carpenters came in and made a little patch, and half hour later it reappeared in another spot, and eventually I tracked it up to the 4th floor, and one of the gents from GIS happened to come out, and he said he saw it go into the big meeting room. So I started in that direction, and he was going up to the 4th, and he stopped and said, "Oh, it's right here." So I just walked up and with my old trusty can and put it right on, and we have him safely secured now.
If you do see a bat in your home or in your office, call Animal Control right away. Lewis says the best thing to do is to try to keep the animal contained, don't open windows or doors, and wait for the experts to arrive.
In most cases, yes. If it's in a setting where no one has been exposed, no one has been sleeping or anything like that, then we can safely say that it hasn't had any human contact or pets. We're lucky here that we don't have any pets about. So we can safely release this one. But if someone's sleeping, or they may have had a glass of wine for dinner or anything like that, if they wake up to the bat, we definitely want to capture that one and send it out and have it tested.
Lewis says the bat captured today at Town Hall will be set free.
We'll release it, and what I'm going to do is try to watch and see where it goes to roost, and then if it is in the building here, we can perhaps hopefully figure out a way to prevent it. We'll do a bat eviction.
Lewis says, though, he might be back at Town Hall again because if you see one bat, there likely will be more.
Generally speaking, yes, there's more than one in a roost area. My guess is that if we were to go across to the school administration building, in the old days when we used to walk in the chimney area, there was a large bat population there, and the screening had come apart a little bit. So when they fixed one of the roofs over there, they fixed that part. And since then, I haven't had any bats over there.
Lewis says he's been very busy with bat calls this summer, an average of 2 a day, which is quite unusual.
Just been unbelievable. This year it's been one of them years, I think, with the heat, the early season. These guys have their young this time of year, so they probably were a couple of weeks early. But if there's so much heat, my feeling is that the tops of the houses are so warm that any bat that may make it inside now turns around and goes further in because it's cooler. And then when they get in the wall, they can't find their way back up. They go down and find the first opening, and that's when they run out of living quarters. So like if you have one of the newer style houses that doesn't have a stair going up to the attic, and it's one of them pull-down units, there's spaces around them, and you open that thing up 1/4 of an inch and the bat can slip right through like nothing.
Again, if you do spot a bat in your home or in your office, call Animal Control right away. With Barnstable Today and keeping an eye out for bats, I'm Sarah Colvin.